Yo, what's up, my name is Isco, and today we are going to be looking at Jose Mourinho's rebuild at Real Madrid, which is already starting. Of course, we got the confirm from Fabrizio that it is a here we go and it's a done deal. We have paid the release clause 3 million euros to be our manager for Jose Mourinho from Benfica, of course. Now, what I want to talk to you about is the rumors, the final changes that Mourinho wants to make, and the demands that he has from this club. We are going to look at his first time at Real Madrid and what signings he made and what players he sold, of course, as well. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts on the signings that are already being pushed on social media and from Jose Mourinho, of course. Let's get straight into it. Now, Mourinho wants signings. The coach detected a lot of weaknesses in the matches he had versus Real Madrid this season. Now, of course, we all know this. He came out after, the games and said, we were not that great, especially defensively. We have some great players in attack. He talked, very positively about Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham even before. When we won the UCL in 23-24. So he has a lot of favorites, I would say, in this team, but he has a lot of, people that he's unsure of, which is completely understandable because we literally lost to them 4-2 while he's coaching Benfica and he didn't even win the title. Yes, he did go invincible in the league, but they didn't even get Champions League, which is kind of crazy still to me. But they did beat us, so he has full perspective of how we play. We played 3 games in this season just against Benfica with him. And, Mourinho believes that there are too many players in some positions and very little depth in other positions. Yeah, we all know what he's talking about. We have, Ceballos, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde, Arda Güler, Brahim Diaz, Franco couldn't even play there, Nico Paz couldn't play. There is so many players, Federico Valverde, there is so many players that can play in the midfield. But look at the defense. We have constant injuries, and we have no, backups, There is always people just starting and nobody's on the bench, There is Aguado from the academy that has to be on the bench because Alaba and Militao are injured. Or when Militao and Huijsen started the season pretty well, they got injured. Rudiger wasn't there. Tchouaméni has to slot in. The right back position as well we're going to talk about, but Jose wants to decide both signings and departures. I think that's crucial. Guys, if you agree with me, of course, put it down below in the comments, but the departures is the key word in this, because signings, of course, it's still gonna be, Perez and, the board with Jose Mourinho. I'm pretty sure this is not gonna be 100% Jose, because if the player doesn't, represent Real Madrid, I don't think it's gonna be 100% on Jose to bring him in. I don't think he's gonna be bringing in people like flipping, I don't know, if he likes some bum from the Premier League, it's gonna be a tough one. But the departures, that's what I like to see from Real Madrid, and I hope there's a lot of outgoings from this club like Ceballos, Mendy, Alaba. We already know Rudiger is signing another contract, so that might be, a bad for Raul Asensio and these players, Fran Garcia. There's so many people that can be on the chopping block, but this is not it for Jose Mourinho at Madrid. Jose Mourinho wants full control at Real Madrid on and off the pitch, not just the signings and the departures. Of course, so important at Madrid, especially with the dressing room. He literally said the coach wants to feel supported but also have the freedom to make decisions both off the pitch and inside the dressing room without interference. He saw what Xabi Alonso went through and basically said, no, I'm not going through that, and we need some reassurances, we need demands if I want to come here. That's why he's bringing, all of his coaching staff from Benfica as well. I think he brought in 3 coaches, assistant coach, technical. There is a lot of changes at Real Madrid which need to be happening, in my opinion. And I think this is great from Jose. He's coming in, experienced. He knows exactly how he got burnt at United and Spurs. He needs those demands. Mourinho feels that this is essential to control everything around the team. He wants maximum control, more on the same note as we read before. And Real Madrid have agreed to give Jose Mourinho the final say on signings and departures, which I if this is 100% true, I'm so happy with. But is it 100%? Is it the final say? Let's see, yeah, because as they say in the post, this is incredibly uncommon and has practically never been given to any coach under Florentino Perez, because Florentino Perez always likes that, final say, or that, let me pinch this idea to you, and if you don't sign him, I might sack you, bro, so sign him. With Jude Bellingham and these guys, he had the final say. But if Jose Mourinho actually has the final say and wants to sign these players, and I'm about to talk about the rumors, don't you worry, in the later stage of this video, but there is going to be a lot of players that are actually going to be, hard working. They are going to be experienced. They are going to be much older. They are not going to be the most popular players. Of course, we might see, some Bastoni signing or maybe Guardiola, these big names from huge teams. But we also might see some people that you haven't even thought of. Last thing I'm going to mention is the first transfer window of Jose at Real Madrid when he was here the first time, The signings were Mesut Ozil, Angel Di Maria, Sami Khedira, Ricardo Carvalho, Pedro Leon, and Sergio Canales. And if you look at all those players, of course, some of them failed at Real Madrid. They weren't at their best. But Mesut Ozil, one of the best 10s in the world. He might have been the best 10 in the world at Real Madrid. Honestly, he was sensational. Angel Di Maria basically won us that Champions League with Carlo Ancelotti when he started to play him in that 8th role. Sami Khedira, the runner, the I would say a lot of underrated, wasn't the best player, the best midfielder, but he did a lot of work in that midfield. It wasn't the most popular player as well. Ricardo Carvalho, of course, signed him from Chelsea, big defender, great on the ball as well. Pedro Leon and Sergio Canales didn't do too well, but still great players after. But the departures is what I want to focus on. He went out and basically said, yeah, this is done for Raul, Kuti, Van der Vaart, Metzelder, Royston Drenthe, and Diarra. Of course, some of these older, they were, at the time, like Raul, they were just getting to that age. But Van der Vaart, Drenthe, these guys just on and off the pitch, it wasn't just good, man. The Dutch revolution, as they call it in 2010, which just didn't work out. He got rid of some of those players. He benched some of those players, and I like that from him. I like these departures, even though some of them weren't completely up to Jose. But I also like that he signed Ed Adebayor in January. That was the actual last time that we have actually signed someone in January, other than Brahim Diaz, I think, in 2019 from Manchester City. So we might be seeing something different in the transfer window, in the January transfer window. But let's move on to the rumors and the rebuild of Jose Mourinho, because once again, we have seen this throughout the season being linked to us with Rodri. The Ballon d'Or winner is one of Real Madrid's top targets. Do I like this? Not particularly. But as I said, we might be looking at a completely different pool of players under Jose Mourinho. If Rodri is on the radar for Real Madrid, it might just be time for a lot of midfielders at this club to be sold, like Camavinga, Ceballos, Brahim Diaz, some of the top players. It might be on the out as well. We will wait and see, but I wouldn't go for Rodri because I just think he's too old now and too injury prone. If those injuries weren't there, give me Rodri right now, But that ACL, and once again, he was getting back to his form. Wasn't the greatest Rodri, of course, this season, but he was really good. Once again, gets injured. This is my problem with him. That's why I wouldn't want him. But maybe if he's fully fit and he stays fit, he could be a great fit for Real Madrid. We will just have to wait and see. But the club could make a move for him this summer, especially now that Pep Guardiola is leaving. Some of those, City players that are really, really experienced, and even some of the younger players might be on the lookout for a new club because, they don't trust the process. They will not fit Maresca's plan, which is 99% done. Maresca will become the City manager. But we will have to wait and see for Rodri. This is a big rumor, and I don't even know if it's a Jose rumor. But what definitely is a Jose rumor is Alessandro Bastoni as a center back signing at Real Madrid this summer. Jose Mourinho really wants him. This is not just like some random opinion on him or he wants him as a backup. No, he is Mourinho's favorite option for the center back position. And honestly, do I like Bastoni the best as an option? No. But I thought about it more and more. He's the guy that played against him when he was at Roma. Bastoni was really, really young. I don't even know if he was, that good for Inter in those times. But he knows him. If he trusts 100% his instincts on Bastoni, and from what he has seen from his time at Serie A, from his scouting report, whatever it is, I trust Jose Mourinho to make this signing. Once again, do I love it? No, but my mind has to change now. It's not the signing of Jude Bellingham, Mbappe, it's Eden Hazard, Arda Güler, talented player. It's gonna be more experienced, that consistency, the players he can rely on, and the players he saw. Like Dean Huijsen, 100% is now staying at Real Madrid and will have a future at Real Madrid because Jose Mourinho, I think, trusts him from Roma. He was furious when Roma, sold him back to Juventus, and then Juventus basically sold him after like 2 weeks to Bournemouth, which I completely understand. Still such a weird decision to me, but Alessandro Bastoni, great center back. The price is where I, back off a little bit, but if we signed Bastoni, I wouldn't be mad, but would it be my top priority? No, I like Joško Gvardiol way more, but he's once again injury prone, and this is what Bastoni has, over a lot of these players. He has that availability. I don't think his injuries have been nearly bad as the other options, like, Van de Ven, we have been looking at Romero, even, and then Joško Gvardiol. There is some injury-prone players, especially at this club and on the transfer market, so maybe Bastoni will be a better fit than I will expect, but let me know down below your thoughts as well on this signing. Then we have something a little bit different, I don't think too many people have expected this. And I certainly forgot about this guy, that we have the 2 buyback clauses. Real Madrid have 2 buyback clauses for Rafa Marin. I think he's a decent player. And, from what have, the reports have been coming out that we don't have too much depth in some positions. So why not just 25 million, 35 million? It's not bad. Rafa Marin could be a rotational player at Real Madrid. I could fully see it. Is he good enough to be, the starter in Champions League games? No. Is he good enough to defend against Getafe, Celta Vigo, Osasuna? Is he good enough to come off the bench if we need him to? Is he good enough to rest some players? For sure. I think he's not a bad player. He's with Villarreal, Napoli. He's definitely a good center back to be a backup at Real Madrid. And if we have the buyback clause, why not use it? I think this is one of the most smartest things that Jose Mourinho can do after he returns to Real Madrid. Just bring these players back. Even Gemma, Nico Paz, Endrick, even if they don't fit, send them back out on loan, or just keep them on loan and maybe call them back when you need them. But I want to see more callbacks. I want to see more players that, can be that rotational player, can be, a little bit more experienced, because Rafa Marin is a little bit different than to every player we have right now. He's like in the middle, he's not young, talented, but he's also not that old experienced, but he's just in the middle, consistent. That's what I like to see at Real Madrid more, because we have too many superstars and too many youngsters, and not these, consistent, good players. That's what I want to see from Jose Mourinho, and that's what I'm getting from these reports as well. Now, the last thing I want to mention, of course, because Rafa Marin, I think he can slot in as a backup right back, but he's more so a center back. If we are going to be completely honest, I don't think Rafa Marin will be coming in as an option to play right back as a backup or, a center back. I think we want to lock down more positions, add more depth in all of those positions. So I think we will be signing more players in the defense. I think it's going to be about 3 players in the defense. And Real Madrid are looking for a backup right back in the transfer market. They are very happy with Trent as their starting right back. Of course, I'm pretty happy as well. I think he's going to be sensational. Maybe even better defensively under Jose Mourinho, because the defensive side of Trent Alexander-Arnold has always been, a question mark. I do think he's a bit rash in his decision making, and in some UCL games he can get at, especially against Bayern, Luis Diaz. But he's not bad defensively for the Liga, guys. Like, from the games I have seen from him where he was bad defensively, of course you can notice it. But if I would say, 50% of the time, 60% of the time, he was really good defensively, and then the 40, he was okay. I wouldn't say he's bad defensively. And Jose Mourinho, if he wants to bring in a backup that's more defensive, or that has the ability to attack like Trent but is better defensively, I think Van der Son from AS Monaco is a great shout. Van der Son would be around 20 to 30 million. Only 24 years old as well, a little bit younger than Trent, has that experience in the UCL, has the experience for playing a top club in the Ligue 1. Of course, hasn't played, La Liga, Premier League, I get it. But Ligue 1 is really, really physical, and he's in the 99th percentile in defensive contributions for AS Monaco, and in the top right backs in the world, of course. because he's just so underrated defensively. There is time to grow for him, only 24 as I said, and the price is rumored to be around 20 to 30 million, so I hope we look into that a little bit further. But yeah, this is how, you know, the rebuild is looking so far for Jose Mourinho. He wants to the final say in almost everything at the club. Of course, the finances and this and that will be discussed with the board and Florentino Perez, and the final say might not be up to Jose fully, but I hope that is that, you know, sort of essence that Jose Mourinho is that guy, that he's the special one that earned the trust of you know, Florentino Perez before, and he's now getting the final say in this. Because Florentino Perez got the final say in the manager, let the manager cook now, okay? That's what I want. So a backup right back. Some of these players are going to be coming back, like Nico Paz, Endrick, you know, maybe even Gema, and Rafa Marin, which is, you know, quite a new rumor. Then we have the Bastoni as the favorite option for a center back so far, and Rodri and some other midfielders like Bernardo Silva. But I think Rodri is, you know, at the top of the list for Real Madrid because Guardiola has left Manchester City. So we will have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts on Jose actually joining Real Madrid and all of these rumors from the transfer window so far. We are going to be looking to it way more. And, you know, if you enjoyed this video, as I said before, please like the video, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. There is some huge videos coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.